Good evening, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about the very basic thing about the nature of the Hindu culture. What is the nature of the Hindu culture? That's the agenda. So let me first put it at the very outset that the primary aim of the Hindu culture or Sanatana Dharma is attainment of God, the Parameshwar, the Ishwar. The name Hindu culture is given to the spiritually oriented Dharma field, refined system of thought and conduct that has come down through the eternal tradition and that pervades almost every sphere of life. And that's why it's called way of life. This pure stream of Hindu culture has flowed uninterruptedly from extremely ancient times. Therefore, Hindu culture is the most ancient and unchanging Sanatan Indian Arya culture. In reality, it is the culture of humanity. It is the culture of humanity. In this culture, the principal and single aim of human life is moksha, knowledge, or attainment of God. Therefore, every act and every effort of life is performed while keeping that aim in the view. That how would you attain the God? How will you attain the moksha, the knowledge, the ultimate knowledge, the God? Accordingly, in the four Purusharthas, or the efforts that are talked about in Hinduism, the final place is given to the moksha. We say dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Moksha is the most important ultimate aim of every human being according to our Hindu way of life. In essence, artha and kama, acquisition and enjoyment, are to be restrained and regulated by dharma, righteousness. Wealth without dharma and enjoyment without dharma, the righteousness, create great evil and destroy the humanity. Ravana, Vena, Kamsha, Duryodhan, and others are example of this. A life joined only to artha, which means money, and kama, is an animal-like life. The Bhagavata, the great Indian traditional text, says that when dharma disappears, people become classified like animals, like the dogs and the monkeys. Hindu culture does not teach the abandonment of earth and kama. Don't get me wrong. Our Hindu tradition does not say that you should not run after want earth, the money, or the kama, the pleasure of life. They too have usefulness, but they must remain dependent upon dharma. They must be done according to the righteousness, according to dharma. In the Valmiki Ramayana, Bhagavan Sri Ram is described through the characteristics of dharma. Dharma itself protects the life of the world. Earth and kama are contained within dharma. The wife who follows her husband, worships of guests and other duties, harmless and righteous enjoyments, and properly regulated actions becomes helpful to earth when they're joined with dharma. Action in which dharma, earth, and kama are not properly integrated, but by which dharma is produced, should still be done. Those who abandon dharma, the righteousness, and remain absorbed only in the earth, the money, and the enjoyment, the pleasure, the kama, are worthy of reproach. Manu Maharaj therefore says that the earth and the kama that oppose dharma should be abandoned. Paritejartha kamo yo syatam dharma varjito. Dharma or Sanatan Dharma is the principal foundation of human life and gives it direction. By following dharma, one reaches the highest welfare. The highest welfare. The Srimad Bhagavatam says that dharma is the supreme path for the human being. By it only one realizes the supreme, the Sat Chit Anand, and does not return to the realm of sorrow. Kayena vacha manasendriyarva buddhyatmana va prakrutehi swabhavat karoti yadyat sakalam parasmai narayaneti samarpayetat. This is the mantra we chant in the temples, and this is what it means. Whatever a person does by body, speech, mind, senses, intellect, ego, or even by the force of nature, he should dedicate all of it to the Supreme Lord, Sri Narayana. Yat karosi, yat tashnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi, kaunteya, tat kurushva mad arpanam. Bhagavan Sri Krishna Gita himself says that Arjuna, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer in sacrifice, whatever you give, and whatever austerity you perform, offer all of that to me. The fruit of such dedication is also stated. One who relinquishes the bondage of auspicious and inauspicious results through this yoga of renunciation is freed and attains the Lord, the God, the Paramatma, the Parameshwar. This is the principle and the fundamental form of Hindu culture. It raises an embodied being from lower states to ever higher spiritual levels. Every discipline, thought, and action is meant to assist the soul in reaching the supreme God. Then we believe in dharma and equitable sharing. Moksha is the goal of life. Therefore, in the human Hindu culture, the relation of life with dharma is inseparable. Dharma is always joined to actions, small or large. Everything you do should be combined with dharma. Supreme dharma is devotion to God, but along with it, certain qualities are described as markers of dharma, which are supreme means for everyone. Vedaha smriti sadachara swasya cha priyamapmanaha etat chaturvidha prahu sakshat dharmasya lakshanam. The Veda, smriti, good conduct, and that which is inwardly dear to the purified self are described as 4 direct marks of dharma. Dhrutihi, Shama, Damosteyam, Sauchamindriya Nigraha, Thir Vidya, Satyam, Krodho, Dashakam, Dharma Lakshanam, fortitude, forgiveness, self-control, not stealing, purity, restraint of the senses, discernment, knowledge, truth, and absence of anger are the 10 characteristics of the dharma, the righteousness. The Bhagavatam gives an even fuller list of dharmic traits. What it says? It includes truth, compassion, austerity, purity, forbearance, discrimination between proper and improper, control of mind and senses, non-violence, celibacy, renunciation, self-study, straightforwardness, contentment, service of great persons, gradual withdrawal from excessive worldly enjoyment, reflection on the contrary fruits of egoistic actions, silence, self-examination, proper sharing of food and other necessities among living beings, and seeing in all beings, especially human beings, seeing in all beings one's own self and one's chosen Lord, the God, hearing, singing, and remembering and serving the God, the Lord, the Bhagavan, the Parameshwar, worship, salutation, and servitude, friendship, and complete self-surrender. These taken together are dharma. Reflect on these marks. Reflect on these. In a culture where these marks of dharma prevail, can any living being in the world be miserable? Can anyone be? In human beings alone, or even in animals, if there is equality of soul awareness and reverence for the divine, then how can there be cruelty and exploitation? Then how can there be cruelty and exploitation? The Gita says that a wise person sees with equal vision a learned and humble Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and even one who eats anything else. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavi hastini shuni chaiva shwapake cha pandita samadarshina. Here one may object, Brahmana and Chandala are both human beings, so equal vision is understandable. But how can one think of equal treatment with cow, elephant, and dog? A cow gives milk and is valued. An elephant carries burden, and dog may serve a god. Yet equality does not mean identical external behavior. The Hindu sees that the same indwelling self, the one God, is present in all. He honors a Brahmana as appropriate for a Brahmana, a Chandala as appropriate for Chandala, and the cow, elephant, and dog according to their nature. But because he sees the same supreme in all he does, not behave falsely or cruelly with any, nor does the diversity of behavior reduces love and God awareness. Just as the experience of I is the same in one's head, hands, feet, and other limbs, yet the behavior toward each limb differs, so one can recognize sameness of the self while acting according to the proper function of each being or each object in the nature. A person eats with the mouth, gives with the hand, reads and walks with other organs. One limb does not do the work of another, yet one experiences the same pleasure and pain in all and loves all as one's own. In the same way, even while maintaining practical distinctions, the person who sees God in all beings remains established in equal feeling toward the self and acts not only for his own welfare, but also for the welfare of other beings. आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति यो अर्जुन सुखम वा यदि वा दुखम स योगी परमो मतः. Arjuna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Arjun, the yogi who, by comparison with himself, sees equally everywhere the happiness and sorrow of all beings is regarded as the highest yogi. If sometimes in practical life a harsh action must be taken, as when a surgeon cuts a diseased limb, it should be from duty. It should be done, but from duty, not anger, not greed, not hatred, not ego. The Gita teaches Arjuna to fight, yet to fight free from hope and possessiveness, treating pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat, same alike, and dedicating action to the God. Such action is not binding. This is a special feature of the Hindu culture. While observing necessary practical distinctions, one remains unattached, devoted to God, and skilled in the proper use of each thing. Practical diversity does not destroy spiritual unity. Hindu culture sees unity at the level of self and supreme while recognizing the multiplicity born of nature. This experience itself establishes equality. The whole world has arisen from God, rests on him, and is contained in him. The whole world is arisen from God, it rests in him, and is contained in him. Yato va imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yatta prayatnat yabhi samvishanti tad brahma. Thus, a person can worship the Supreme through his own duties and attain perfection. According to one's own karma and according to the divine arrangement, the embodied being takes birth in a particular varna or a yoni. The natural duties corresponding to that state are one's own dharma, the swadharma. Swadharma, one's own dharma. Varna dharma means recognizing this natural fitness and performing the appropriate duties. Each varna has its own responsibilities. No varna is intrinsically small or great. If a person of particular nature and vocation produces something useful, it should be distributed in society in a very just manner. When this ordered circulation of duties and fruits is disturbed, competition, jealousy, and exploitation arise. The four varnas are therefore mutually complementary and helpful. Each has a distinctive social utility. The Brahmana is the distinguished by knowledge, the Kshatriya by strength and protection, the Vaishya by the wealth creation and economic activity, and Shudra by service and labor. All arise from the one's divine body. The Brahmana from mouth, Kshatriya from arms, Vaishya from thighs, and Shudra from the feet. And we worship the feet of the God, the same Brahman, as the traditional imagery expresses it. It comes in the Purusha Sukta from Rigveda. Each should follow his own proper karma based on their varna and thereby attain perfection. Those who faithfully fulfill their own responsibilities become worthy of honor. Dramatic performances provide an analogy. When each actor plays his assigned role well, he receives praise. In the same way, in the drama of the world, excellence consists of fulfilling one's own role rather than imitating another. So here the idea is that nobody is small or big based on their varna or caste. They're doing very important things and sharing the fruits of their action with the society, and a beautiful society is created that way because even their job is preserved. And if they're following the traditions of their family, then those job-related skills are actually inculcated in them since their birth because they're seeing that day in and day out. Then the karma and rebirth. Hindu culture accepts the doctrine of karma and rebirth as a directly experienced truth. The fruit of action must be experienced. According to one's karma, one obtains birth again and again, so long as one does not attain knowledge of the supreme or liberation from the cycle, the stream of birth and death continues. After death, the living being receives an intermediate subtle state, and under the momentum of karma, it travels onwards and takes another embodiment. Thus, the good and bad action leads to the different births and experiences. Human beings are free in performing action, but they are dependent in receiving the fruit. Through prohibited action, one obtains sorrowful lower status. Through pure Vedic action, happiness in higher worlds and refined human conditions. Chandogya Upanishad says that those of good conduct attain good births, such as Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya, whereas those of bad conduct receive lower births. So one should, this is a way to encourage people to do good actions in their life. The good and bad yonis that arise in accordance with conduct are obtained immediately in accordance with accumulated tendencies and karma. Now let's talk about the ashram dharma. The Varna system is not the arrangement in Hindu culture. There is also an ashram system. The aim is renunciation, not enjoyment. Tyaga. Tyaga is the goal, is the action. The ashramas teach a progressive discipline in which one passes through rightly ordered stages of life, learning restraint and tyaga and gradually loosening attachment. The brahmacharya ashram, first 25 years of the life, is the stage of discipline learning. The student lives under the guru's guidance as a disciplined child, restrains his senses, studies, acquires knowledge, and learns of simplicity and self-control through tyaga. After education, he enters the grihastha ashram, the family life, where he must live amid enjoyment while practicing sacrifice, the tyaga. Wealth is earned, but not merely for oneself. It is for parents, family, society, dharma, guests, and God. And this sense of householder becomes a sustained center for the other ashrams and for the living world because he's contributing to the society. The householder is compared to the life breath that supports the one that supports the ashramas. Ashramas. Just as all living beings live by air, the other ashramas are supported by the householder through food, gift, and service. For this reason, the true householder is praised, not the one sunk in self-indulgence, but the one who earns honestly and distributes it rightly. In later life, one enters vanaprastha, loosening social and sensual bonds, living increasingly in detachment and contemplation. Finally, the last 25 years of life, sannyasa. One renounces all possessiveness and seeks complete unity with the Supreme. Thus, the ashram system turns life itself into the path of gradual purification. The marriage, the shadi, the vivah. Marriage in Hindu culture is not a breakable contract made merely for sensual enjoyment. It is not for sensual enjoyment. It is a sacred bond established by the Vedic rites for the fulfillment of dharma, family continuity, what we call pitrurin, and service to the gods and ancestors, and the orderly pursuit of life's purposes. The ideal is that the husband and wife remain joined through a sacred relationship so that the widowhood or separation is not treated as a light matter. The source presents the older traditional ideal of enduring fidelity as a spiritual discipline. Then the service of elders. Hindu culture gives great importance to reverence and service towards parents, teachers, and the worthy elders. Manu says, Father, mother, and elder brother must never be insulted, even if one is afflicted by them. The teacher is viewed as a form of Brahma, the father as a form of Prajapati, the mother as the form of earth, and the elder brother as like one's own self. Serving and honoring them brings great merit. This is a sloka I learned in my childhood. Abhivadana shilasya nityam vruddhopasevinaha chatvari tasya vardhante ayurvidya yashobadam. For one who habitually salutes, respects, and serves elders, 4 things increase: lifespan, knowledge, fame, and strength. Now let's talk about the glory of Bharatvarsha, India. Some important characteristics of Hindu culture have been presented in this talk. In truth, Hindu culture is spiritual at its center. Maintaining the practical order of the world, it aims at just livelihood, humane conduct, inner refinement, and finally liberation. Its principal character is to proceed from the limited toward the greater, from selfishness towards service, from attachment towards renunciation, and from fragmented vision toward the vision of God everywhere. This great culture arose in sacred Bharatavarsha, India. Therefore, India is blessed and will remain blessed. Gayanti deva kila gita gani dhanyastute bharat bhumi bhage swargapavargaspada marga bhute bhavanti bhuyah purushasuratvat. The God themselves are said to sing the song. They say, blessed are those who receive birth in this land of Bharat, the India, the land that is road to heaven and liberation. Even the gods desire human birth there, because the human being can perform spiritual action and attain the supreme. Aho amisham kimkari shobhanam prasanna esam svidut swayam harihi ye janma labdham rushu bharatajire mukundo sevo paikam sprahahinah. The God marveled at the fortune of those born as human beings in Bharat, India. What auspicious deed have they performed? What did they do? Has Hari himself become especially pleased with them? Hari means God, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Vishnu. Has Bhagavan Vishnu himself become especially pleased with the people who are born in this country, in this part of the world called Bharat? For they have received human birth in this land, Bharat, suitable for service of Mukunda, the Krishna, the God, Bhagavan Vishnu. We ourselves long for such a birth, and the gods themselves are longing for this kind of birth at this very land. The gods go on to say that in Bharat, in India, one can swiftly perform sacrifice, austerity, vow, and charity, and acquire the right to pure spiritual merit. Celestial pleasures are limited by the exhaustion of merit. Therefore, even heavenly beings look upon birth in Bharat as an opportunity for higher attainment. Those who understand the grandeur and divine purpose of this culture carry a serious responsibility. They should not abandon it through imitation or forgetfulness. They should study its principles, understand its meaning, and embody them in life. Hari Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So thank you very much for listening to this lecture, which I took from Gita Press, text called Bhagavat Charcha, compiled by Podarji. I hope it was found useful, and you all will spread the message of our great tradition from Bharat and serve as the ambassador of this great tradition wherever you live today and in the future. Thanks so much. Namo Namaha.